We need to rejoice that it's this time of year again. It's August. That's right, it's August. I could use a haircut. I could use a lot of things. I could use a haircut. I could use a blowjob. I could use a piece of ass on a regular basis with a vagina attached to it. That would be nice. You know, not every day, but this kind of thing. So today I want to talk about gratitude because I realize that in America, where we're all about the get, we're all involved in the get process. Gratitude is not the first thought when we're operating from a position of get, to either get it done or get busy or get the fuck out of bed. It's time to go to school or work. We're involved in the get process. Gratitude is difficult to cultivate. You know what I mean? It's hard to cultivate gratitude when we're in the get life. But I just want you to know that today is a good day to be grateful because it's football season. That's pads and helmets, not to be confused with soccer. And I just want to tell you that I am so grateful that we got through the World Cup, and thank you for Germany making that a pleasant experience. I just feel so much gratitude because of that, the way that was finished. And we are halfway through this 9 innings is too many innings thing called baseball, which I liked as a child. But because baseball has fundamentally fucked up a lot of people's ability to get laid in life, and we are operating from a position of not gotten any in a while in my house, we are not really that fond of this bullshit sport. And because, well, Pete Rose didn't make it in the Hall of Fame, and the Rocket has yet to be blessed with that opportunity. And I would just like for you to know that I am boycotting baseball. I would rather fucking play cricket, motherfuckers. That's where I'm at on that deal. Now back to gratitude and operating from a position of get. August is hot in a lot of places. Today, the temperature in Washington, D.C. is 91 degrees, and that's a 91 sweatshop, humid, mental institution, architectural place with one White House. One White House finally has a black man in it for a change, and that's good. But god damn it, they have some architectural issues with the exception of that one house. The rest of it pretty much looks bad. Just anyways, be grateful that you're not there today. 91 degrees of hot and hell, because it is hell. It is, if there's a hell on earth, that is the only place that could be hell, would be that place. I swear to God, there is. That's the only place. So gratitude. This is about cultivating gratitude in a life about to get. We got to get somewhere, got to be somebody, time to go, get. This is hard, right? It's hard to cultivate gratitude when you're trying to get off of work, see the light, when you're trying to get off of anything, when you're trying to get off the bus, and some guy in a wheelchair and an electric little cart, scooter thing is in front of you, then gratitude is easily, readily available. If you have 2 legs and can walk, of course it is. Of course it is. So it's not hard to go from assholeness to ass completeness. Really, it's not. I realize some people might have a problem getting there. They're operating from a position of DNA ingratitatis, which is a function of just being an asshole. And some people are just assholes. And there is a thing called the penal code, because most of them happen to have a penis attached to them on the other side of their beingness, typically speaking. Females, typically, they're either crazy or just whores. But you rarely will run into a situation where you just have a deeply rooted cuntedness that is beyond the gratitude accomplishing wisdom of cultivating gratitude. Because if they actually have a birth canal, not to be confused with some that do not, but if they actually have a uterus and a cervix and a normal menstrual cycle, there's something about bleeding once a month that just makes one grateful for when you're not bleeding. And then itchy pussy is really it's really, there's no way man could ever have the true nature of empathy and understanding of what's just having an itchy pussy. Because itchy pussy is the worst shit on the planet. You just can't get enough scratching in it. You cannot stop scratching it. You cooking bread, but you don't eat bread. It's like, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine this. Imagine you have something called irritable bowel syndrome and you can't eat bread. You have a celiac condition and all you do is make bread with your pussy all day long and it itches. You making shit you can't even use and just irritated all day. Now see, there's a situation where she might have a hard time cultivating gratitude, but she's even capable of it. You see what I mean? Because I think women inherently are divinely incapable of not being a complete asshole. In the history of the world, even though man wrote it, woman edited it, we know this is true because most men would have walked out of grammar class had they not had somebody at home telling them that they were not cut out to go and break bricks and be locked up like their cousin, dumb fuck. That they were just not cut out to become like their dad was, out, gone all the time, doing somebody else's construction work. You know, this kind of thing. I mean, and they didn't really want to do grammar just to get out of that situation. So someone had to be like cultivating like the need, the desire to want to even say shit. You know what I mean? Before they do shit. That's just the nature of how man has evolved. So the cultivation of speech. Now there's some disagreements about what is considered proper speech. You know, like there's some tomfoolery about what's considered proper speech versus what's not proper speech in terms of, well, leaders and talking and whatnot. The reality is, I think we all are looking for the next great distraction, and that's probably the uniform, universal condition that exists within all of us. Now, those that are grateful are less likely to be caught, well, running over small children while looking for a distraction or texting while riding a bicycle, which is really an art. It is truly an art. That's still legal. Very few things are. I mean, I'm the kind of person that thinks helmet laws are stupid. We should not have helmet laws at all. And seatbelt requirements, really, that's just, to me, that's bullshit. But I'm also the individual that advocates responsibility for oneself. Yet I'm not responsible for myself financially yet at this point. And I'm 40 fucking years old. So there's a paradox to all of this. What's the paradox? The paradox is by having a pair of nuts and a cock, you are just conditioned to be confusing. And then that's what it is. Women are trying to figure us out. We're always saying we don't really care about figuring them out. That's bullshit. We don't have the slightest urge to figure them out. If men really wanted to figure woman out, man would listen to what woman says, but we don't. Except to get inside the pussy. Then we stop listening. At that point, we no longer have any reason to listen, right? Because man's simply motivated in the get nature of things. To get a job, to become something, to get a ring, to get a championship, to win versus lose. These concepts of winning and losing are important. I want you to pay attention to this, the winning and losing. See, because man does not want to be this. But I'm telling you now that the best man is the best loser. He who loses knows that there's a lot of shit not worth really fighting over, because then he realized emptiness, and once he realized emptiness, the great void, I call it the great void. Once he realized everything, first was the void. Well, first was the chaos. First was the bang, the chaos, then the void, which was void resulting in expansion, so everything come out of the void. That's what some people say. It's probably exactly how it would happen. Think about it. If you were to just take this, let's say there's this magnet, this huge magnetic pole that's sitting in the middle of this thing. Call it space. Space is relative. Let's just call it space. It's sitting in space. It could be floating in outer space. It could be stuck in the ground, projected up into the space vertically. You see what I'm saying? This is called space awareness. Right. Like, where the Pope gives his speech does not look as big as it really looks on TV when you're actually there. It doesn't make it that big of a deal. Follow me? That's called space awareness. Spatially aware of things. Gotcha. Cool. Now, what's the point of all this? Well, the point of all this is we are always trying to get to the point of everything. And the point of everything is prolong getting to the point of things. Because once you get to the point of something, there's no longer any need to get anywhere. And so then that makes it just, well, the journey is something about this discussion of the pointedness of the situation. If you're operating from a position of gratitude, like, you know, I still have legs today. That's awesome. I'm not missing a thumb because some kind of rabid fucking domestic animal ate it. I still have the freedom to walk about this beautiful country, even though some parts of it are not that attractive. But it's better than an 8x8 and 3 squares of deathly shit every day and then getting well, having to give blowjobs to guards to get special treatment. I'm just saying, I've been arrested a few times. It's okay. Understand, it's okay. Things could be worse. For example, in women's prisons, right? Concrete laying dikes run everything, okay? And concrete laying dikes can be worse than the worst man ever possibly could be. In fact, I think we're all going to discover at the end of the day that the world is ran by a concrete laying dyke that's got a resentful complex because no one will let her play football with pads and helmets, and that's why everything is out of whack. And the sooner we let her put a fucking helmet on and get her in the game, the better off we're all going to be, and we can finally gamble on this shit and be happy. So I want to end on that note because it's August. America may be a lot of things that's not perfect, but we're the only fucking country that has a sport called football with pads and helmets. There is no question in my mind that I would not be in America anymore if it was not for football. And even if I choose to live outside of America eventually, the only time I'm ever coming back to this motherfucking country is in August because of football. I am not going to come back to celebrate death like you motherfuckers do, like it's some kind of... Y'all are so death consumed in this country. The dead are running the lives of the living. Y'all are fucking nuts. But I'm just saying football... And fuck, you know what? I ain't going to talk about lawyers and lawsuits because that just puts me in a bad mood. Because I seen the dark side of that bitch too. And some of them motherfuckers could take a huge pay cut and lose a testicle. That's all I'm going to say about that. So before we get into the politics of the sidebar of the situation, which doesn't involve the actual sport of football, and before you get into my long, extra long filibusteristic type speech that involves the structural integrity of the NCAA, the funding of schools with federal tax dollars, and the misappropriation and allocation of resources resulting in the University of Texas being decent when they should have been fucking last. I'm not even going to get into those discussions about Ricky Williams' mother and jobs and etc. I'm not going to go there, but let's talk about the sport of football for a minute. What? This is not a question answer. This is a video. It's currently 13 minutes and 20 seconds long. I would suggest just listening and not getting worked up about things. Now, there's a chance because the BCS no longer exists. And that's exciting. The BCS is being phased out. I'm not sure where we're at on that phasing out of the bullshit yet. But I'm excited that there's something in place. I think it's next year. Anyways, we're going to a 4-team playoff thing. Which, by the way, makes some former insignificant assholes involved in the media in Los Angeles, California, less insignificant and still assholes relative to deciding things they have no business deciding, and that's preseason picks on who's worth a shit and who's not. The bottom line is that whole process was completely fucked up from the very beginning, okay? And it was fucked up for a couple of reasons. First, the first reason, and I'm going to explain this in 3 distinct parts. First, the college rating system in America is fundamentally flawed because it has an inherent bias that's Ivy generated, which is hegemonically, consistently, and it has been arbitrarily enforced by, well, let's just say it's been handled inappropriately by endowed private institutions. And what they've been doing uniformly is they've been manipulating the publicly funded institutions to their whim. And so you have this infarct of a situation where Some might ask the question, why do most graduates of Pepperdine go work for Boeing? I'm not sure. Maybe it's some kind